Hey, are you still on the Trump train? You are? Good. I need to talk to you. Look, I got a question. What the hell is wrong with you? No, seriously, what the hell's wrong with you? I'm not talking about just now. I mean, even back in 2016 when you thought it was a good idea to put Donald F. and Trump in the White House for the first time. Hey, did you not know who Donald Trump was? Hey, I've asked this before, but listen, did the TV signals not make it all the way to your house when you were younger? You didn't know who he was? Look, I knew who he was since I was a young teenager back in the 1980s. I knew who he was. I mean, whenever he would hold those boxing events there at Trump Plaza and stuff, and he'd parade his trophy wife out, Ivana, whose father was KGB, parade her out there and try to make the whole boxing event about himself. I knew that he was scum then. And you could tell just by the way that it was, the way that he talked about himself constantly. Now, I know you think, well, I mean, shoot, but the Democrats loved him. All the Democrats, they loved him. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. See, Donald Trump was a spectacle. He was more infamous than he was famous. That's being famous for the wrong reasons. So they would gladly put him on their little talk shows and stuff like that for the ratings. And he does bring some ratings because he's an asshole. That's why they would do that. Okay. Nobody liked Donald Trump. Nobody ever liked Donald Trump. See, and matter of fact, Jeffrey Epstein actually said that about Donald Trump, is that Donald Trump never had any friends because nobody trusted him, because he'd go behind his friends' backs and screw their wives. Okay. So Jeffrey Epstein said that he'd never had friends. So Jeffrey Epstein became his only friend for more than 10 years throughout the 1990s. Because Donald Trump didn't have friends. Okay, the way Donald Trump used to conduct business was he'd bring a client in, a prospective client, try to make a deal with them, and say, "Hey, do you like beaches? You like hotels? You like good drinks? You like good-looking women?" And he'd send them on a little vacation and give them everything they wanted. And when they come back there to show up to make that deal, he'd slide them a nil envelope across the desk full of pictures, and then tell them to deal. That's how Donald Trump operated. So again, what made you think it was a good idea to put him in the White House of all people? See, I knew it was a horrible idea. Most people knew that was a horrible idea because Donald Trump's the type of person that if he ever got into the White House, he's never going to leave. We all knew that about him. He is power hungry and money hungry. That's all that's ever mattered to him. He was failed. He was washed up whenever the producers of The Apprentice come along and found him and drug him out of his New York penthouse up there, said where it was disgusting. Everything was filthy. He was living in squalor. He was washed up. He was broke. He had nothing. He had newspaper clippings all over his walls of the good old days, I guess, back when him and Epstein used to F the little girls and stuff. You know what I mean? So he was washed up. They're the ones that drug him out of the ditch and gave him a celebrity status once again. And y'all ate it up and think that that's the guy, the businessman, the one that played on The Apprentice. You're fired. I mean, that's all it took for you, huh? But there's a little more to that, I think. It's not just that. It's not his celebrity status that drew you to him, and it's not him being a businessman that drew you to him. There's a lot more to it than that, ain't there? See, whenever he showed up on that debate stage in 2016 and he told all of you that we're done with political correctness, you knew exactly what that meant. And you knew that you had just dealt with 8 years of a black president. And it's about damn time that somebody come along to where you could actually say what was on your mind. Ain't that right? Yeah, that's right. That's exactly what that was. Now, during that same debate, he also told you all that I know how politicians work because I'm one of them that bribe them. So you bitch and complain about corrupt politicians, and you decide it's a good idea to put somebody in the White House who bribes and corrupts politicians. Now, what kind of sense does that make? apparently you're willing to accept anything that man does. That's why you wear his stupid red hats and you wear his name all over your body and you idolize a politician. What do you mean he ain't a politician? Yeah, he's a politician. He's been a politician for years. Yeah, I mean, if you just count 2016 to 2020, he was president. That's a politician. And then he ran for president for 4 years straight after that. So that's at least 8 years of being a politician, and that don't count the time all the way back in the 1980s when the KGB told him he should run for president. So he took out a 3-page ad in the New York Post calling for the end of NATO, because the Russians told him to. Okay, so he's been politicking for a long time, and this ain't his first. That wasn't his first bid for president in 2016. So he's been a politician, and just like he told you all, he bribes politicians. That's all he's ever done. He's a corrupt businessman. That's how they operate. And y'all think it's a good idea right now to have a whole cabinet full of corrupt billionaires. What kind of sense does that make? I guess nothing has to make any sense to you at all, does it? It just don't. Because you lie to one another constantly about reality itself. And I can prove that to you. Let's go on the Wayback Machine, okay? Let's go back to back in 2008 whenever Barack Obama inherited a horrible economy after, George W. Bush got us into 2 wars and drove the economy into the ditch and then handed that off to Barack Obama. Y'all had amnesia real fast whenever Barack Obama became president, and you blamed the economic collapse on him. When in fact, you knew that it definitely occurred during the Bush administration, but didn't stop you from blaming it on Barack Obama, now did it? So you went on that whole 8 years just bitching and whining and complaining, talking about how sorry he was, bitching about his tan suit and every other thing you could think of, complaining and whining like little babies the whole time. Hey, but look, do y'all remember back whenever, I had to, at one point, I had to get out my truck, slither across the parking lot on my belly at the grocery store, y'all. I had to slither all the way across the parking lot and slither up into the grocery store to get a $50 loaf of bread. It was horrible. And I tried to wear colors that matched the color of the asphalt so that nobody'd see me. I didn't want to get my ass shot up out there, you know what I mean? All of those criminals and stuff that was just running out there in the streets all willy-nilly. They could have killed me or raped me or done anything to me. It was horrible out there on them streets, them Obama streets back then, you know? And if that wasn't the worst of it, I got the Ebolas like 3 times. I'm wondering I survived that. I got the Ebolas like 3 times, got the swine flu twice, y'all, laid up in the hospital, almost in the hospital, laid up in the bed for weeks at a time, y'all, with all the Ebolas and the swine flus that Obama was giving to all of us. Did y'all have it too? It screwed us all up. And then I just coming home from the grocery store from getting my $50 loaf of bread, just dodging bullets and all kind of stuff out there. Wouldn't you know it, the damn military's out there on the streets, because he done martial lawed us up, y'all. Martial lawed us up. Military's out there looking for all of our guns and stuff. They stopped me, and I'm like, hey, man, I ain't got none. I had them all in my boat when my boat sunk, I lost all of them, So they was out there looking for our guns left and right. That was scary. Then they got me one time, locked me up in a FEMA camp, y'all. In a FEMA camp. I was in there for like 3 months. I had to escape, y'all. Me and this other buddy of mine escaped out the FEMA camp. It was horrible times back there in those Obama days. All the things. And then you know what he did to me? Turned me into a Muslim. Turned me into a Muslim, y'all. I got Muslimed up. And I couldn't. Barack Obama made me a Muslim. Made me be a Muslim. And I went there and started, I didn't know how I was supposed to do it. Was I supposed to read the Bible upside down or something like that? And somebody told me, no, you got to get that Koran thing. So I started reading on that. And I'm like, well, actually, this book ain't half bad, to tell you the truth. But anyway, I started studying up on being one of the Muslims. I couldn't do it. I just didn't feel it in me. I was like, well, I can't be one. Even though that Obama tried to make me one, couldn't be one. And then you know what he did? Turned me into a communist. Turned me into a communist. That scared me to death right there, because I wasn't allowed to have any private property. There ain't no private ownership in communism, So I was like, well, I'm going to have to get rid of my house. I can't sell my house because everybody else has to be communist too. So what am I supposed to do with it? I can't own it. I ain't allowed to. I'm a communist, And then I'm like, well, I can't even be in a class. I can't be poor, can't be middle class, can't be rich. Those are classes. I can't be none of those. I'm a communist. Those don't exist in communism. So that confused the hell out of me. And then I'm like, wait a minute. There ain't no government in communism. But it's the government that told me I was a communist. That Barack Obama told me I was a communist when he converted me over, just like he did making me a Muslim, you know. I'm like, well, this ain't making no sense. I can't be a Muslim and I can't be a communist, you know. So I gave up on it. I tried my best to do it. And you know what? Remember when he turned us all gay? When he turned us all gay, y'all. And I was like, I don't know if I can do this at all. I mean, I did try it for a day. I did. I tried it for a day. I called up a buddy of mine. I'm like, man, come on over to the house and we're going to have to get gay together because Barack Obama said we all have to be gay now, you know. So I said, come on over to the house and let's gay it up, you know. Tell you what we'll do. I got a Crown Royal bag. You can just slip that over your junk right there. Tie that sucker up good. I'll turn on some booty music, you know. Get it going. We'll drink a few beers and you can get out there and start shaking that thing out there in front of me and we'll see what happens, you know. Maybe something will happen. I'll get some tingles or something. Maybe you'll start tingling or something like that. We tried that for a good long while. Ain't nothing happened at all. I got nut and he got nut and he was like, well, maybe you need to try it. So I put the Crown Royal bag on. I started shaking my booty out there to some booty music. Nothing. He had the same thing. Nothing. He couldn't do nothing. Felt nothing. Absolute nothing. So we just put our clothes back on and sat there and drank beer the rest of the night, you know. But we tried, you know, to be gay for Obama because he was going to make us all gay and stuff, you know. So at least he put the efforts in because that Obama, you know, was going to make us all gay, you know. So anyway, it was tough times out there on those Obama streets is what I'm telling you, you know. And so anyway, y'all remember that y'all said all of that, right? That Obama was going to kill us all with the Ebolas and the swine flus, and he was going to turn us all into Muslims and communists. He was going to take our guns away and lock us up in FEMA camps. Remember all that? How his economy sucked. All of the things you said about Barack Obama, and not a damn bit of it ever came true. Do you remember that? Yes, you do remember that. Clearly. So anyway, he finished up his 8 years there, his 2 terms, and he gracefully handed over a wonderful economy to Donald F. and Trump, is what he did, after he presided over the longest period of private sector job growth in American history. Let me say that again. After he presided over the longest period of private sector job growth in American history, he handed that economy over to Donald Trump with $2.25 gas prices, by the way. Now, the whole time that Barack Obama was president, y'all did nothing but bash him. Bash that economy. This is a horrible economy. This sucks. The worst economy in ever. And he's driving it into the ground and we're not going to survive. This is the end of America. All of the same crap that you're saying today. Well, not today, just a few months ago. The same stuff. The same exact stuff, when in fact he was leading the best economy in the world at the time, and one of the best economies this country's ever experienced. That's what he handed over to Donald Trump, and you know he did. While y'all were out there saying, well, this economy here, this Obama economy, talking about 4% unemployment rate, more like 40%. The reason why they're saying it's 4% is because they're getting it off them government websites, and those are manipulating those numbers. That's what they're doing, manipulate the numbers, because the unemployment rate's really 40%. That's exactly what y'all were saying, weren't you? Now, the very same day that Donald F. and Trump got done being sworn in on the Art of the Deal or whatever book he got sworn in on with his tiny little hands, that book hadn't even cooled down from his handprint, and y'all were out there talking about how great the economy is. What a wonderful man that Donald Trump is. I mean, he got so much done while he's being sworn. He got more done while he's being sworn in than all of the presidents combined in the world ever. He did all that while he's being sworn. Look at that. We got a 4% unemployment rate already. Look at that. Gas prices are $2.25 a gallon. That Donald Trump did all of that for us in an hour. In an hour, he did all of that for us. That's exactly what y'all did. That's exactly what y'all did. Now, if you can name one policy that positively affected our economy that Donald Trump implemented throughout his entire presidency, feel free. Let me know. I'll wait. But what you did was gave him credit for Barack Obama's economy. And all he had to do was coast. That's literally all he had to do. He never had to do a damn thing, and he would have been fine. Because it's literally pretty much what he did. Well, until he effed everything up with COVID. And his 2017 tax cuts for billionaires. Trillions of dollars for billionaires. I don't think you understand how the economy works, but here, let me clue you in real quick. See, whenever you inject trillions of dollars into the economy, it causes inflation. So whenever you give billionaires trillions of dollars and they're already rich, they don't need to spend that money. They hoard that money, okay? They buy back stocks. They do that kind of thing. They consolidate. That money doesn't get pulled out of circulation through taxation like it would if you gave that money to consumers, middle class, the working poor. You give that money to them, it gets spent on products and services, and it gets taxed and pulled out of the system. Well, when you give it to a bunch of billionaires and it don't get taxed and pulled out of the system because you gave it to them in the form of a tax cut to begin with, it dilutes the value of the dollar, and it leads to inflation. So that inflation that we were experiencing under Biden was partially due to Donald Trump's tax cuts, which he's about to do again, only this time on steroids. He's going to do it even bigger. Anyway, he was handed $2.25 gas prices and a wonderful economy. And then the next year, gas prices went up to like $2.50, then like $2.65, $2.85. And because of the pandemic and nobody in the world was driving, gas prices went down. Go figure. When there's no demand, it seems like gas prices drop. Isn't that crazy? How economics work? So nobody was driving. So whenever you go out there and you're bragging about what Donald Trump did, well, he had gas prices underneath $2 a gallon. Yeah, he did for a week, because there was a period of time whenever the oil companies were literally paying people to take the oil from them. That's not a good thing. It was because of the pandemic. But when he left office again, guess where the gas prices were? $2.25, the same place they were whenever Obama handed him those gas prices. Okay, so your recollection of how wonderful things were during the Trump years ain't all that. What you was experiencing was Obama's economy. Donald Trump gave us some inflation, and he effed around with gas prices towards the end, because first he negotiated with the Saudis to flood the oil market, and that put hundreds of oil companies in the United States out of business, have to shut down oil rigs all over the place, put hundreds of thousands of oil workers out of jobs. So after he did that, then he turns around just before he leaves office and he negotiates OPEC Plus with the Saudis and the Russians to slow the supply of oil for 2.5 years. The reason why we had such high gas prices after he left was because he negotiated OPEC Plus that shortened the supply. On top of that, we were coming out of a pandemic. The world started driving again, created more demand for that oil that we didn't have, so gas prices went up. And guess what? As soon as OPEC Plus expired, the gas prices went back down again. You can thank Donald F. and Trump for that, because that's exactly what happened. So everything wasn't a rainbow and butterflies the way you remember it. And the rainbows and butterflies that you do remember did come from Barack Obama, because Trump did nothing but ride his coattails and let you all give him credit for it. And he's doing the same thing right now. The exact same thing. Whenever he gave his hate rally speech last night at the so-called State of the Union, what did he do? Told everybody that, the chip manufacturer here, the Taiwan chip manufacturer, they're coming here because why? Because of tariffs. No, they're not. No, they're not. They're coming here because of the Chips and Science Act that was passed under Joe Biden. Well, Donald Trump knew that there were smart enough people out there, like the Democrats that were in the audience, that knew why that those chip jobs are coming back. In fact, I warned y'all several months ago that there are going to be some chip factories that are coming on. No, not potato chips. These are computer chips. Computer chips, okay, not potato chips. We've had potato chip factories here for a long time, all right? Now, these are computer chips. They're coming online this year. And I told you Donald F. and Trump's going to try to take credit for it. And he did, okay? while at the same time bashing the Chips and Science Act, the very act that brought those manufacturing jobs here. Okay, so during Biden's presidency, you all did the exact same thing you did during the Obama presidency, and you know you did. You lie to each other about what reality is. Okay, now Joe Biden didn't ruin the economy, Bidenomics and all that. You know that is a fact. You know that. Whenever you talk about inflation, I already told you, Donald Trump's partially responsible for that inflation because of his damn tax cuts for billionaires, okay? Now then Joe Biden comes along. Did we not have a pandemic? Huh? So you say that, well, the only reason why that things went bad for Trump was because of the pandemic. That's the only reason why things went bad, because he was doing a good job. But then when Biden gets in office, he sucks all of a sudden. That Joe Biden sucks. He's Bidenomics. I'm blaming everything on him. All this inflation and stuff's on him. How does that work? How does that work? How do you have it both ways there? Because you are disingenuous, dishonest, and disgusting. That's how it works. You know exactly what you're doing when you're doing it. It was global inflation. The whole world had a pandemic. And the United States recovered better than any country in the world. Had the best economy in the world. In fact, whenever Donald Trump won the election November 5th, and was sworn in, where he didn't even touch the Bible this time. I guess he was afraid he'd catch the Capitol building on fire. He was handed the best economy in the world. Okay? That's what he was handed. The best economy in the world. It's a fact. I know numbers and statistics don't mean nothing to you. Because you have to live in some false reality that Donald F. and Trump and the Fox faking news creates for you, so that you can justify continuing to vote for somebody who does not have your best interest in mind at all, is a narcissistic sociopath who only cares about himself and his billionaire buddies. And you're willing to keep on doing that as long as you can keep your hatred for other Americans going. Because you tend to hate on some of the smallest groups of people, like transgender people. I mean, you're obsessed with that, ain't you? Just obsessed with the transgender. That 0.7% of the population, just obsessed with them, aren't you? You absolutely are. For no reason at all. You've probably never even met a transgender person in your life. Probably never have, but you worry about what bathroom they're using all the time. What bathroom are they? Hey, let me ask you a question. Since there's been transgender people, since there's been basically people in society, hey, what bathroom do you think they've been using this entire time? Huh? Why don't you focus that same energy on all these preachers that are screwing little kids in their churches? Because that happens a whole lot more often than some transgender person attacking somebody in a bathroom. Don't it? You can read about that every day. But see, I've done the math for you before because I know that you have a hard time with it. But based on demographics and numbers, you would have to wait for 2 million people to use a public restroom for one transgendered person to attack somebody in that bathroom. Hey, but while you were waiting, 200 people were already attacked by straight men, okay, in that same bathroom. So you're concerned about something that don't exist. You always are. You always see, like you're always worried about those, them drag queen story time. Them drag queens are reading to my kids, indoctrinate my children up there in the schools. They'd indoctrinate my children, trying to make them a drag queen, trying to turn them gay. No, that ain't a thing. See, there are drag queen, story times, maybe at public libraries. Who knows? But not in schools. They don't do that in schools. You've been lied to about that, but you're willing to accept that lie, even if you know it's a lie. You will repeat it. You'll tell somebody else, won't you? Yeah, you will. Yeah, you will. Now, the thing is, do you have a problem with the First Amendment? Do you? Or do you just have a problem with other people using the First Amendment and you're okay with you having it? Is that what it is? See, because if a drag queen story time's going on at a public library, you're not forced to take your children there to watch that story time, are you? Nope. But any other parent that decides they want to, that's their right to do so, ain't it? Nobody's forcing you to do anything. So you need to mind your own damn business and stay out of everybody else's business. See, that's your problem. part of your problem. So that ain't happening. When Donald effing Trump gets on the TV or on his Truthless Social and says that the schools are turning kids, doing gender changing surgeries on kids without parents' consent, you know that's a lie. You know that's a lie. But you make yourself believe it because you've got to believe in Donald Trump, even if he's lying to you. And you have to believe in Donald Trump because he gives you the green light to hate these people. And the only reason why you really hate these people is because there's something wrong with you. And you can't look yourself in the mirror. Whenever he tells you that Haitians are eating people's dogs and cats and pets up there in Ohio, that proven to be a lie. Hey, even J.D. Vance, I'm a real boy. He come out and said it was a lie, admitted that it was a lie. And y'all kept on repeating it anyway. Donald Trump still repeats it and still talks about it, even though you know it's a lie. And then y'all switch to, well, if they ain't eating people's dogs and cats, well, then guess what? They're eating the geese. They're eating the geese. Hey, that was actually a video of a Haitian man that got out of his car and was ushering geese out of the road. So that they didn't hold up traffic or get hit by a car. Okay, that's what he was doing. Being a good Samaritan. That's where that came from. But no, got to attack the Haitian community now. Well, because he's black, right? Or he's Haitian. That's xenophobia. He ain't from here, so let's attack on him. They're eating the dogs and the cats and the geese. Hey, you don't eat goose, do you? I don't. You don't hunt, do you? Hey, what if those Haitian people were up there hunting geese? You'd still be hating on them, wouldn't you? Even though they're doing something you love to do. You'd still be hating on them. How about the Venezuelan gang members? That's a good one, wasn't it? A thing that didn't exist. A thing that did not exist. Never did. And y'all also know that was a lie. But you kept on telling each other that and trying to convince other people of it. Big damn lie is what it was. Donald Trump still says it. Just said it. Talked about it the other night there in his hate speech there at State of the Union. You keep believing that. Well, let me rephrase that. You don't believe the lie. You don't. You know it's a lie and you keep repeating it anyway. You know it's BS. Hey, it's just like that invasion down there at the southern border. Remember that? Man, that was a good time whenever a bunch of y'all went down there and was going to go down there and save America from the invasion down there at the Eagle Pass there. We're going to save it because they invading down there. Yep. So y'all got you a big old convoy headed down that way. Y'all couldn't even make the convoy work. Y'all let a bunch of damn Democrats up in your Discord server and confused up your directions and busted up your convoy. Y'all was just out there driving by yourselves. You didn't have your convoy. You had, I don't know, traffic patterns randomly, I guess is what you had. And you had some chick on the side of the road that decided she's going to take off down there with you on 4 bald tires. So she's out there grifting for people to donate money to her to buy tires for her car so she can make the trip down there to Eagle Pass, save America. So then you'll get down there and you go down to a cow pasture and spend the night praying with the cows for some reason. And then you get up and you head on down to Eagle Pass. Now, let me explain something to you about that situation. As y'all was headed down there, I saw a Christian broadcast network emergency broadcast that they had to put out there warning all of y'all. Hey, look, when you get down there to Eagle Pass, you're not going to find anything. You're not going to see anything. We don't want you to be disappointed. This is an emergency. Get this out to the convoy that's headed to Eagle Pass. This is what the Christian Broadcast Network was saying. Because the Mexican government already intervened. Yep, they got out there and they dug these trenches like 1,000 miles long, impenetrable trenches out there to keep them illegals from crossing out there. And then they had Mexican buses picking them all up, putting them on buses and transporting them all down to Mexico's southern border. That's what that Christian Broadcast Network was saying. Yep. Getting rid of all of them, cleaning up that border, just getting them all off the border. And hey, those big old tent cities that was set up right there on our border there that was housing millions of immigrants just getting ready to flood in here. No, they cleaned it all up, bulldozed it, wiped it away as if it never, ever even existed. Cleaned it all up. That's what the Christian Broadcast Network was telling y'all. Because they knew that the whole story about the invasion at the southern border wasn't just bullcrap, it was also Russian propaganda, as found out by Wired magazine. They did an in-depth report on that. That was Russian propaganda. That invasion at the southern border was all pushed by Russians. Picked up by Fox News and the Christian Broadcast Network, and they knew that it was Russian propaganda, and they fed it to you anyway. So anyway, y'all get down there and get down there to Eagle Pass and find out that there ain't nothing there at all except for a glorified movie prop that Greg Abbott, Mr. Hot Wheels himself, set up down there so he could put it on the TV to convince everybody there's an invasion at the southern border that never, ever even existed. So once y'all found that out, you go riding around and you go through Uvalde down there, flying your Trump flags and acting stupid, where a bunch of people got shot up already, because, that Second Amendment right there, we need that to protect ourselves from a tyrannical government. Hey, where's that Second Amendment right now? Because you put a tyrannical government in our government. So anyway, you did that. Then you get in a fight with each other because y'all couldn't decide which MAGA was the baddest asses of you, MAGA East or MAGA West. And then y'all decide y'all going to meet up with Sarah Palin of all people and baptize one another in cattle troughs. So you do remember that experience, don't you? You were lied to again, but you still kept on, even though a bunch of you went down there and witnessed the fact that you were being fed a bunch of lies. You kept talking about an invasion at the southern border that did not exist. You do it all the time. You do it all the time. You've been warned over and over again about Fox faking news. They literally got sued for $800 million. Settling out for $800. It would have been a lot more. It was something like 1.2 to 1.3 billion that they were being sued for lying to every single one of you. They've testified in court that only morons would believe anything that Tucker Carlson said. Fox News is entertainment. There's nothing news about Fox News. It's just entertainment, and they lie to you. What would make you think that a billionaire Australian and a Saudi prince that owns Fox News has your best interest in mind? They lie to you, but you keep going back to that toilet bowl and drinking out of it constantly, just loving those Fox News turds, pissing all. Keep going back. You were told and shown that people like Tim Pool and your favorite podcasters, your right-wing podcasters, were lying to you and was being paid hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars by Russians to spread Russian propaganda to you, and you still keep going back for more. Russia, Russia, Russia. That's what you say every single time when it's been proven over and over again that yes, Russia has been involved in our politics for a long time. They've infiltrated our government. That's obvious. But you keep going back for more of that. What do you think Twitter turned into? Why do you think Elon Musk decided he's going to buy Twitter? Hey, there's still billions of dollars of that investment, of that $40 billion buy that he did, that people still don't know where exactly came from. There's indications that a lot of that money came from Russia to buy Twitter. And I mean, it makes sense because it ain't nothing but a Russian propaganda outlet. There's a reason why that all of you used to be the party of Red Dawn and now you're the party of the Red Square. You didn't feel this way about Daddy Vladdy until Donald F. and Trump come along. And you were told that he's a Russian asset. For a long time, you've been told he's a Russian asset, and you denied it, and you say, Russia, 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 Russia hoax, Russia hoax, Russia hoax. Well, now then you see him siding with Vladimir Putin. In fact, the United States just voted with Russia and North Korea, of all people, to keep Russian troops in Ukraine. Now he's talking about lifting sanctions off of Russia. He is Vladimir Putin's puppet, straight up. And I think you see it. I think every one of y'all see it. But rather than admit that you've been duped by Donald Trump and you've been played and that he is in fact a Russian asset, you can't admit you was wrong because you are so embedded in that cult, that Donald Trump cult, that rather than admit, hey, wait a minute, they were right. This dude obviously is a Russian asset. There's documentation proving it. Books have been written about it. With citations, thousands of citations that prove he's a Russian agent. Has been since the 1980s. You are starting to see this. But rather than admit that you were wrong, Rather than admit that, hey, wait a minute, Donald Trump is a Russian agent. Hey, this ain't good for America. What do? You take sides with Russia. You defend Russia. You repeat Russian talking points about, oh, well, NATO's encroaching on Russia's east. They never should have did that. They promised they wouldn't do that. That's violating the treaty. That was never, ever even discussed in the treaty. That is Russian propaganda. Whenever Tucker effing Carlson went over there and did his little interview with Vladimir Putin, that was nothing but Vladimir Putin's propaganda straight out of his mouth, and he is an expert propagandist. Okay? You're being lied to. You're being played by Russia and Donald effing Trump and the Republican Party, because there's a huge chunk of that elected MAGA politicians there in our Congress that are also in bed with him. Because the Christian nationalists, the Project 2025, the Heritage Foundation people, they're in bed with Russia. They needed Russia to get power. They needed that Russian propaganda to get power that they did get, to achieve exactly what they've achieved. Why do you think Donald effing Trump told every single one of you, I don't know nothing about Project 2025? Because he absolutely did. When Project 2025, when the Heritage Foundation was hacked, it was found out that they were in communication with lots of foreign entities like China in discussions on how to develop Project 2025. Viktor Orban in Hungary. It's a roadmap on how to turn the United States into basically a theocratic authoritarian dictatorship. Why do you think they're dismantling all of the government agencies right now? You think it's a good thing. Oh, that's just government bloat. No, those agencies exist for a reason. Okay, I wouldn't expect that you would understand any of that, though, would you? Yes, there's wasteful spending. Apparently, not a whole lot, though, because Elon Musk hasn't been able to find a whole lot. Now, Donald effing Trump will get out there in front of the whole world and say that Elon Musk has done found hundreds of billions of dollars in waste. Effing lie. Don't even say that on DOGE's own website. And the things that they have found, the biggest things they found, they had to go back and delete because they lied about it. They're not finding anything. Let me tell you what DOGE is doing, okay? Make it real simple for you to understand. What DOGE is doing is going through and looking for any kind of money they can. They're like looking through the couch cushions is what they're doing. They're trying to find any money they can to steal from taxpayers to give to themselves in tax breaks. They're literally trying to take money that was voted on by our Congress bipartisanly to be spent on certain programs, whether it's USAID or any other thing out there. It was voted on, agreed upon, signed into law. And they're wanting to take that money, not to give back to you, not to give back to me in a DOGE check. That's never going to happen. You're delusional if you think that's ever coming. No, it's to give to them. They're not going to lower our taxes. They're just trying to find that extra money to give to themselves. And it's simultaneously dismantling our government. Now he's in the Social Security Administration, firing people, firing important people, making it to where that it can't even run anymore. Now we're being warned by the previous administrator that we've got about maybe a month to 2, maybe 3, before people stop getting their Social Security checks and their disability checks and their SSI because the Social Security can't operate. It will cease to function because they are destroying it on purpose. Why? So that they can loot all the money and put it in Donald effing Trump's new sovereign wealth fund that they're creating and privatize our Social Security so the billionaires can gamble on it. That's what they're doing. You ain't getting a DOGE check. They're not saving us any money. They're stealing it. And the truth be known, what Elon Musk is doing there, he's also got his little band of misfit boys there sifting through data, downloading data and feeding it to his AI so that he can get a leg up on his competition. Boy, it sure would help him a lot if he had all of the U.S. citizens' data to feed to his grok, now wouldn't it? He's fired every inspector general that's been investigating him and his businesses. The inspector generals that he fired were there to audit, to continually audit those agencies, and apparently they've done a pretty damn good job of it, haven't they? Because they haven't found a whole lot. And the things that they have found has only been Elon Musk's opinion on whether that money should have been spent. There's been no fraud proven. There's been no waste proven. All of this is to steal money from us, to give to themselves in the form of trillions of dollars in tax cuts. We're not getting that money. Donald F. and Trump don't care about you. Two outcomes are coming from Donald Trump's presidency. One, he don't need your vote anymore because he can't seek re-election because this is his second term. He won't have a third term without a constitutional convention. You change the Constitution, that's what it's going to require to give him a third term, okay? That's not likely going to happen. So either he don't need your vote because he can't be re-elected, or he don't need your vote because he don't ever intend on leaving to begin with because they're destroying our constitutional republic and replacing it with a dictatorship right in front of our eyes. Whether I like it or whether you like it, you can keep on sucking his balls all you want to. He's going to stick it to every single one of us. And he has. He's coming for Social Security. He's coming for Medicaid. They're coming for all of it. They're coming for our jobs. We're looking at a negative 2.8 GDP the first quarter. Those are Great Depression kind of numbers. We're looking at starvation. We're looking at people with no medicine. That's what he's doing to this country on purpose. And he raised your Medicare prescription prices and you haven't made a peep about it. And you know he did it. So again, what the hell is wrong with you? Is it your racism? Huh? Is it your xenophobia, your homophobia? Your misogyny? What is it that makes you keep on supporting this man? Things were not that bad under Biden or Obama, and you know for a fact they weren't, and you lied about it. You lied about it. We can't have the best economy in the world and our economies suck. And that's not an opinion, it's a fact by literally every economist in the world based on data and statistics, based on reality. No matter how many times you tell that lie, it doesn't make it true. Now, what the hell is wrong with you? You're going to sit back and watch this country get torn to pieces by Donald F. and Trump and his billionaire buddies so they can loot the entire thing and turn us into a bunch of peasants and turn themselves into trillionaires. And you call yourselves patriots. It's disgusting. Every single one of you. There's no excuse for being that stupid, that brainwashed. A bunch of Russian traitors at this point. Nothing good is going to come from this at all. And it's going to happen fast. And you can't blame nobody but yourself and Donald F. and Trump. Because Joe Biden left him with a great economy, regardless of what you want to say about it or what your Fox faking news tells you to say about it. And he's destroyed it in 6 weeks. Inflation's going up. Prices are going up. The tariffs haven't really solidly taken place yet. You're about to see everything skyrocket. You don't just put tariffs across the board on everything. If you're going to do tariffs, you use them strategically. You use them targeted tariffs on certain items. You don't do it across the board. That's exactly what that idiot did on purpose, to destroy this economy on purpose. Elon Musk admitted it. He said their intent is to destroy the economy and replace the dollar with a digital currency. The thing y'all are opposed to. Hey, it might even be a chip. How about that? You're going to get your chip Huh? It might be a 666 inside your forehead. How about that? You going to get Leon's chip that he wants you to get? They're saying the quiet parts out loud right in front of your face, and you're too stupid to listen. You hate on Democrats constantly, and you don't even know why. Don't even know why. Bunch of damn socialists, bunch of damn communists, bunch of damn fascists. Hey, you definitely don't know what those definitions are. Definitely don't know what those definitions are. You are a effing fascist. I can tell you that. I know what the definitions are. Whether you know it or not, I know it. We all know it. But you look it up, 14 characteristics of fascism. Study it up. See who it reminds you of. But you do hate you on some socialism. Hey, next time you jump up in your truck, you got to head up in the town or something like that. Maybe you're going up to the Waffle House or something like that. Hey, check it out. Hey, before those front tires touch that asphalt, you had better stop right there. Stop, get out your truck. You can't use that asphalt. Those are socialisms right there. That's taxpayer-funded highways, road systems that we put. That's the commons. We commonly put our dollars together, build those roads right there. So you don't like some socialisms? Don't go on that road. Now, what you're going to have to do is jump out that truck, take off running, or you can walk if you want to. You probably have to walk because you're going to be out of breath in the next first 15 feet. So anyway, get out there and start walking alongside the road. No, wait a minute. There's an easement right there. That belongs to the taxpayers too. Yeah, that's more socialism there on that easement. You're going to have to get clear across that easement. Don't touch it. You're going to have to get your run and start and jump across the road and the easement there and get in the wood line on the other side on other people's. Get on some private property. Walk through that wood line, okay, to get where you're going to go. That way you don't walk on some socialisms, all right? And eventually now you might encounter a river or a creek or something like that. Now, that's going to be tough on you, especially if it's wintertime, okay? Now, you can't walk across that bridge because that's a socialism bridge is what that is. It's taxpayer dollars paid for that. So what you're going to have to do is just, ain't going to do no good to strip down buck naked. You might as well just jump in with your clothes. You're going to have to swim across that to get to the other side of there. That way you ain't using up no socialisms, okay? Now, you wouldn't even know that I was telling you this right now, because you're on some socialisms. Yep, the interwebs, that's some socialisms. That was actually that created there by the military using taxpayer dollars. So more socialism is what that is. And I don't care if it's being beamed from outer space, those satellites and stuff that Verizon and T-Mobile and AT&T, they all send up and stuff like that. All the infrastructure that goes into our interwebs and our cell phones and all that, subsidized by socialisms, y'all. Subsidized by some socialisms for us to have that. So you might as well turn this thing off. Stop watching that because that's some socialisms that you're getting right there. So your whole life is ate up with some socialism. So, or, if you hate your socialisms that bad, there's too many out there for you to do anything about at this point. So you might as well just end it all. You know what I mean? Hit the almighty eject button because this planet ain't for you. Okay. So anyway, so you hate you on some socialisms. So like I said, avoid it at all costs, okay? Or maybe you're just a big fat hypocrite, is what it is. And you just want to hate on some Democrats. See, because let me explain to you what you think Democrats are. You think Democrats are a bunch of sissies, don't you? You think they're a bunch of blue-haired sissies, right? Gay. They're all gay. They're sissies or they're transgendered. Or what you really identify them as being inward lovers, don't you? If they ain't black already, right? Huh? Well, that bothers you, don't it? So you think Democrats are weak. That's a big mistake. See, assumption is the mother of all F-ups, okay? You stereotype too much on people is what you're doing. See, what Democrats actually are now, we do have empathy. Now, if you think empathy is a weakness, you're just a dumbass is what that is. Now, it does make sense that you would think that because it seems to me that what a lot of y'all have in common with Donald F. and Trump is you're narcissist. You're only concerned about things that affect you. And we're starting to see that right now. It's real clear because some of y'all are jumping ship because you're like, oh, Lordy, I didn't know this was going to hurt me. I thought it was going to hurt somebody else. Now it's coming after me. Trump, stop, Trump, stop, Trump. I can't do it no more, man. You can stop hurting us with the stuff. You're supposed to hurt the black people and the brown people and the gay people and the women's and all those, but you're hurting me, man. Now you're all complaining. because you thought his policies was just going to make somebody else's life miserable, not you. See, narcissist, sociopath is what it is. So you're only worried about yourself. Selfish sons of bitches is what you are. See, whenever we go out and cast a vote, we're casting a vote on behalf of everybody. We're casting a vote for somebody that we think is going to benefit all of us the best. When you go cast a vote, you're casting a vote for somebody that thinks is going to benefit you personally. Anyway, that's part of your problem there. You're all narcissistic sociopaths, apparently, and you lack empathy. And you think the Democrats are weak because we have empathy. You couldn't be any more wronger about that. What we actually want is, well, health care for everybody, just like every other country in the world has got. Pick a continent. They all have it, except us. Well, I don't know. The northern part of our continent damn sure does, Canada. But we're not allowed to. We'll keep on paying the private health insurance companies and fatten up the pockets of shareholders, because that makes a lot of damn sense, right? It makes no sense at all, because again, when we were talking about socialized health care, it was, people like Sarah Palin talking about there's going to be government death panels deciding who lives and who dies. Hey, who the hell do you think's doing it right now? Matter of fact, that CEO of United Healthcare, he got himself some lead poisoning up there in New York because they were letting AI decide who lived and who died. There's your death panels, but you're okay with that for some stupid reason. God forbid that the American people get together and say, hey, you know what? Let's pull our tax dollars together so that we all have health insurance. That way, when we go to the hospital, we don't walk away with a big old bill that bankrupts us for the rest of our life. Or we can't even afford to go to the doctor to begin with because the copays are so stupid and high. Or because we can't afford to pay our premiums. Any of that. No, let's just keep it private health insurance company so that all of our money, 80% of all the money we pay in goes to shareholders and CEOs. And they only use 20% to actually go towards healthcare. Let's keep doing that rather than all of our money go to administrative services and actual healthcare. Because that's socialism. You can't have socialism. Well, then stay off the effing roads and stay off the internet. You're brainwashed all the time by billionaires. You know who don't want us to have universal health care? Billionaires, shareholders of large insurance companies, CEOs of large insurance companies. They lobby, they corrupt our politicians. You bitch and complain about corrupt politicians. You put a bunch of corrupt billionaires in the cabinet of Donald Trump's website or White House, and you're okay with that. The very people who corrupt our politicians, you put in the White House. And then you complain about corrupt politicians. That makes no sense whatsoever. Democrats also advocate for higher paying jobs, employee rights, human rights. You don't like us because we stand up for gay and transgender people or black people or brown people. Too effing bad, okay? And if that's what it's going to come down to, and you're always going to be a jackass about everything, and you're always going to hate on some socialism, at your choosing, though, of course, you got to cherry pick everything like you do the Bible and the Constitution. You're just going to go ahead and hate on the things that benefit all of us so that you can keep hating other people, and you're going to think that we're weak sissies because we stand up for them. Hey, well, they're not going nowhere. Not going nowhere. And if it all boils down to that, if that's actually your problem, then we need to take it to the streets. That's the only way it'll be solved. Or you can come to your senses, stop hating on people, and realize that the enemy, the common enemy that we have, are the very same people that you allowed Donald Trump to stick in his White House. The billionaires, the CEOs, the executives who keep every damn one of us down. They don't care about our color, our gender, or our race, or our religion. Well, those Christian nationalists damn sure do that, don't they? They care about keeping us down, them getting richer, and them controlling us. Their ultimate goal is to enslave every single one of us. And those that they don't need, discard. That's what you're advocating for right now. Right now. And you act like you can't see it. Donald Trump don't give a damn about anybody in this country. Those billionaires don't give a damn about none of us. It's about making them richer and us under their boot. And as technology rolls out, more and more of that snowballing technology that's coming out, artificial intelligence, and Elon Musk is saying he's putting robots, millions of robots in this country within the next 3 years doing our jobs. I'm afraid that if these billionaires, these tech bros, this technocracy that they're trying to put together, this what is called dark enlightenment, dreamed up by one Curtis Yarvin and Peter Thiel, who handpicked J.D. Vance, I'm a real boy. They're going to get what they want. A technocracy ruled by the billionaires. No constitutional rights. Ruled by the billionaire class. And whenever they AI up everything and robot up everything, they're going to decide what human labor force they need and who is a parasite on society, as Elon Musk has already said. And you are no better than we are in their eyes. Trust me on that. They used every damn one of you to get the power that you allowed them to have. They're not going to treat you any better. I think you're starting to see that already. They're coming for all of us. Oh, and that Second Amendment, they are damn sure coming for that. So, take it for what you will. At some point, this country's going to have to do something about what y'all have done before it gets out of control. You can research everything I've just told you, but you won't do that. Because it's too convenient to just keep on hating the people you want to hate and hoping that none of what I said comes true. And you've been wrong about everything ever since Donald Trump's come along. So good luck with that. Inmate Trump.